Hi, and welcome back to the 5-day writing schedule revamp challenge. This is a day 2. Today we're looking back at the schedule the time tracking rather, that we made on day 1 when we tracked our time. If you haven't watched day 1's video, um, it is posted in the Facebook group or in the link that I have sent you if you're viewing this via email. So you can go back and revisit day 1 before you move on to day 2. I'm going to apologize in advance. There may be a little bit of kid noise in the background. They're downstairs, I'm upstairs, but sometimes noise, it floats up, it happens. Anyway, let's look at what we've got going on here. So I'm using my day so far today, as I record this on Monday night, as the example. Let's look at what I actually did today. And then I'm going to look at 2 other example evenings because my day looks pretty different than the day of someone who is also balancing a day job and family and their writing, because I write from home with my kids. And anybody who's worked from home with their children around knows that it's challenging, but it does look very different than a traditional work outside of the home job. It also looks very different than someone who works from home but also has childcare for their kids. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So let's start with this and find the ways that I could have used my time a little bit better. So we start at 8 o'clock, embarrassingly late, because last night we had toddler waking issues, and today was not a preschool morning. So I didn't get up at the usual time. I let my kids and myself get our sleep and recover. So it starts at 8. I have some relaxing time, and then the kids got up from 8 to 9. And yeah, I could probably have that 40-30 minutes of relaxed time before my kids woke up. I probably should have used that to start my creative work. My best time is in the morning. My best time for being really on it is first thing in the morning. But I just kind of looked at my phone and fiddled around. It wasn't even very quality relaxing time. So this is one of the things that you'll want to look for in your schedule. Where are you just sort of fiddling with your phone or checking email again and again? All right, 9 to 10 was pretty on the ball. I was posting lessons or posting lesson 1 in multiple places for this challenge, and giving the kids not quite a full breakfast, but snacks, making coffee. I was busy. 10 to 11, finished up the lesson stuff. It took more than an hour. And I got some admin stuff, some editing done, because the kids were playing mostly independently. But I also had a good period of time, maybe like 20 minutes, that I was just dawdling. I'd finished up the stuff for this challenge and felt like, yay, work done. Time to check Twitter for the umpteenth time. Time to just kind of, again, it was really low quality goofing off time that if I wasn't gonna, if I did need a mental break and I wasn't going to use it productively, that should have been time that I was just kind of letting my mind rest, or that I was reading a book, or I was just enjoying being with my kids. So again, 11 to 12, mostly kid time, a little bit of admin, basically a lot of that afternoon from like 11 all the way through 3:30 when it was nap time. I was really pretty much on, even if I wasn't getting much done in terms of my editing my short piece, or doing the admin or catching up with stuff for this challenge. The kids really needed me, and I was pretty much on. So about 3:30 to 4:30. There was nap time for the kids, and that was coffee time for me. Um, and I could have used that time to do some stuff, but actually, I think this time it's good to collect my thoughts for a little bit. I listened to a podcast about and learned how to be a better author, so that was a good use of my time. I wish I hadn't scrolled the phone quite so much and just relaxed and listened and paid more attention. But part of going through your schedule isn't, eliminating every little mental break. It's being selective about what you do during your mental breaks and how many mental breaks you're taking that aren't really mental breaks, that are just scroll through Twitter, that are just check email again. Just stuff that you don't really need to do 10 times a day. After the nap time, it was important family, kids snuggle time, cooked supper, outlined for this video. I ate in like 2 minutes, and from there on out, I've been super busy with doing a podcast interview and now this video. So I did find some places, even though I've been pretty productive today, I did find some places where I could have used my time better. If I'm just going to sit there and scroll the phone, I've downloaded a book to look over as research for my next novel. I could have spent those 10 minutes looking at that. Or I could have spent those 10 minutes just looking out the window and thinking, and that still would have been a better use of my time than it would have been to check email for the 30th time today. Because even those little mental breaks you give yourself when you really disconnect, that's where creativity comes from. You still need a little bit of daydreaming time in your day. And I hope that that's helpful for you when you're looking at your schedule, looking at the little places where you're just sort of checking your phone or vegging out on the TV and going, is that really the way I want to use my time? And maybe you do need time to unwind, but is that the way you want to use is that quality unwinding time? Is that as good as reading a book? Is that as good as just existing and thinking? Is that as good as getting a little extra family time? Or, you really want to get more writing done? That's what we're here for. Maybe you should be writing instead of checking your phone. Yes, it's 5 minutes, but it's 5 minutes that you could be writing. All right, so let's scroll down and look at some other example days. Not a full day because we're already at 7 minutes in this video. So let's look at an evening for someone who is having a pretty low-key post-work evening with their kids. So this person, they get off work, pick up the kids and come home. They're making supper, eating, got family time. Then at 8:30, family time, they get the kids off to bed, they watch some TV. After that, there's TV, slash Netflix, and they're just kind of scrolling their phone until they decide to go to sleep. There's a lot of good family time in here, and there's a lot that, they probably don't want to change, or they really can't change. Can't change the time they get off work. The kids do need to eat, and they do want to have that time with their kids. They might be able to cut some time off making supper if they just have sandwiches, but you can't have sandwiches every single night. It just gets really boring. You want to have a home-cooked meal once in a while. But you see, there is some time where they could squeeze in just a little bit of writing. Maybe they don't need to watch TV slash Netflix for as long as they have. And they're scrolling their phone while they're watching TV, so they're not really paying close attention. So they could still get in a little bit of writing time before some unwinding time before bed. But again, this is a pretty low-key day. Or low-key evening. Let's look at a more packed evening, maybe with an older kid who has a later bedtime, but also has a lot of activities. So this person also gets off work at 5:30. And let's say they pick up their kid from somewhere. They may have to pick up one kid from one location. Anyway, they've got their kids. They got some fast food because this is a busy night. Then they go to whatever event this kid is having. This kid is having some sports event, or a school play or something. Then the event keeps on happening for like, let's say they arrive at 7 o'clock and this event goes on for an hour and a half. Then they finally head home somewhere around 8:30, and they settle down about somewhere between 9:30 and 10. This older kid gets ready for bed, and the adult finally gets to just relax, veg out, and watch some TV. Not a whole lot of room for squeezing writing in here in this day, is there? But there probably is a little bit. If push comes to shove, this person really needs to get some writing done today, really needs to work it in, even though it's a really busy evening. They can cut that TV time. But I'll bet they could also probably get in a teeny bit while this kid event is happening. Not to say that they shouldn't be paying attention to the play or the game or what have you, but I bet that there's a little bit of downtime before things start. Some waiting around time. And if there is, even if it's just 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes they wouldn't have gotten. I'd also like to say these working parents probably have a little bit of extra time in other places other than a school night. So they might have squeeze in like 10 minutes of writing time at lunch or in the mornings before people get up. They might also do the bulk of their writing on the weekends. And that's something that they could establish with their family. Mom or dad writes for an hour on Saturday mornings. So it's not, writing, if it doesn't happen every day, isn't, that's not the end of the world. It's about finding the time whenever you have the time, not about following some arbitrary rule to write every single day. And I'd also like to say, there's still, these schedules don't account, for everybody and every situation. There may be times when you're dealing with a family emergency and there really literally isn't a single minute you're not doing that. And oh my gosh, don't write when you're doing that. Handle what's going on in your life. You may also, this doesn't really account for people who are maybe like working 3 jobs and just barely, have enough time to exist. And here's what I'm gonna say about that is that you live the life that you have to live. And if you want to find time to write, one, whatever situation is going on, hopefully, probably is not going to happen forever. 2, that you don't have to write every day. You can just write on the weekend or whatever time really works for you. 3, if you're finding these little pockets of time and it feels really discouraging because maybe it is only 10 minutes a day or even 10 minutes a week, that's the 10 minutes that you wouldn't have had. And if you don't track your time, you won't know that you have those 10 minutes. So, sometimes if you track your time, and it can be a little disappointing to find a day where there really isn't time to write. But part of doing an exercise like this is to remind you to keep looking for time. Because as soon as you stop looking for the time, you definitely won't find it. So if you look through your schedule and you found some little bits of time that you can use, or that time that you could be using more efficiently, and you'd like to share it with us, I would love if you shared in the comments what you've learned from this exercise. And it's also a great day to start thinking about, what are your plans? What are your writing goals for the upcoming month of November? Maybe you want to do National Novel Writing Month and write a whole entire 50,000 word novel in a month. Maybe you want to alter the challenge a little bit and write something a little shorter, or write something that you've already started writing. Or maybe you just have totally different goals for that month. But whatever your goals are, if you feel comfortable, I'd love it if you would share with us. But regardless, just keep them top of mind for tomorrow, because tomorrow is the big session with all the math. Not to scare you, it's pretty easy math. It is really grade school level math, but it's multiplication and division. This is where we get technical about what we can do with our time, and the time that it takes to accomplish our goals. So we'll get really into the math tomorrow. And until then, I will be commenting on the Facebook group, commenting on the Facebook event, and look forward to hearing from you and your questions. Till next time.